Thank you all for coming and signing in early for the help desk session. I'm trying a new headset tonight. We'll see how it works. And if you can't hear me, just tell somebody who can yell at my ear or something, or call me. But my name's Jim Cerny, and we're going with the help desk question and answer session from now until a couple minutes before 7, when our regular meeting begins. So I would like to open up now to questions from anybody.
Fine.
Yeah, holler, raise your hand, do something.
Raising my hand.
Make sure you're off mute so we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to raise my hand.
Okay.
I gotta figure out where it is. Mm-hmm.
It should be under React.
Okay, I've just gotten more. It's on my screen. Let me see. I have share. Nope, I have more. Let me see what's under more.
But just go ahead.
Okay, I sent off to Huey. I got this note from Microsoft to tell me that they're changing their contract with me, and it made no sense to me because it didn't tell me what was in, what was the summary of what was changing. So I know I have old versions. In fact, my versions of my machines will not update to 11. So, and I got more than 3 licenses. So I'm wondering if they're doing something to change any of the products. Has anybody else received that note from Microsoft as a notice? I'll get it up. Huey, I sent it to you. If you could explain.
Yeah, you sent it to me, and I misread it, and I was going to send a note to you that I did a video on too long didn't read, TLDR, and it was on there's a website that talks about the terms of service. But as I read yours, when I went back and reread yours, that's not what you were talking about. So I'm not sure. The thing that we'll have to do is probably do a Copilot search on what they're talking about, and hopefully we can get an answer from Microsoft through Copilot. So I have not done that yet.
Something that is pertaining to the new release of Windows, that they're trying to scare you and that you need to go to the new release?
Well, I'm not sure. Again, wasn't that obvious. It told me there was a summary of what was changed, so I could go look at the summary. When I looked at the summary, it was again a bunch of gobbledygook and nothing that talked specifically about products or versions. So I couldn't get an idea of exactly what was changing. And it said, you don't want to do it, you got to do this or that, and I said, I don't know what I have to do.
Well, we don't have subscriptions for Windows itself. You either own it or you don't own it.
Right.
So
I have 3 copies of ownership, and I have all of the documentation to prove it. And they all are Office 360, so I kept all of my products running, But I'm having trouble with Word recently, with a bunch of them telling me things aren't readable anymore. But I can go back to my backups and pick them up, and they're fine. So I don't know what they're doing.
There's a couple of things that might be. First of all, most of the changes in the licensing is probably due to things that the EU has forced them to do in terms of privacy and sharing information. So that's probably what most of it's about. As far as your Word, it may well be there's some issue that I've seen with fonts. Some of the fonts that Microsoft provided, somebody has complained about the ownership, and Microsoft has deleted them. So they may not be in the, they may no longer be supported on your computer or something like that.
Right. Again, I for some reason they say the file can't be read, but I go to my backup and I pick it up and it works fine. So I just move it to another location or keep it on a thumb drive so I can get it. Anyway, it's just weird things. So I don't know if something was happening with the old versions of Word, etc., that weren't coming forward. So
I'm not aware of anything like that, but as I said, I'll have to do some more investigating.
Thank you, Huey. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. Just thought I'd bring it.
I don't want to interrupt Bob because he has had his hand up, but are you absolutely sure, Margaret, that is a valid Microsoft message?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you actually gone to your account, Microsoft account, separately from that message?
I've gone to my Mac. I don't really have a Microsoft account.
You have a Microsoft account if you have the subscriptions.
Well, but it's actually, I've never really signed on to it. So if it's out there, I haven't used it. This has been one of my problems. They set up an old account and somebody else picked up my ID. So I haven't,
Oh.
I kept with my Google, and that's why it's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I understand. Just be real careful, and especially if look at the language that's used, because it can't. I have seen something like that. At the computer club, people come in with stuff like that and ask us, "What is this?"
Yeah,
And
I
I've
know.
seen some that are very, very good that are bogus. So just as long as you're aware of that, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I agree with
Okay.
you. I had an incident about 3 weeks ago, driving, and someone calls me. They tell me they're from, what was it, Medicaid, and they needed to check my account, right? So I said, I'm too busy, I can't do this. And then when I get to my garage, they're calling me again to check it because I got to do it right now. And I said, nope, I don't have to do it right now. So you definitely have to watch what's going on. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, I'm getting things on my phone and email that look very convincing. You're almost out of space from a provider that I know I'm using, and it's bogus.
Always go to the horse's mouth, as it were. Don't respond to the email or the messages. Always go to whatever.
Call them
Yeah.
back. Call them
Yeah.
back yourself so you're talking to the right people.
Yeah, but don't call them back at the number they give you.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Don't check the numbers. No, don't call them on anything that, there's another one there where they're making the screens go red, alert, and that's the one that's really causing people trouble because something is actually on their computer at that point and they've got to go get it off. They can't use that number to call because it's not what it is. Something else. They put a bug in there.
Another way
Bob?
to remove those bad guys, if you do what's called a hard shutdown.
Right. Control delete.
No. Press and hold the power button
Okay.
for 15 seconds.
Okay.
Count it out. Let go. Sit back. Take a breath. And then restart the computer. When you reopen your browser, do not have it go back to where it was. Don't have it. I forget what they call it.
Restore.
Reopen, restore. Don't restore. Just start like a fresh thing and go back to your email or something like that. Because it's something that's embedded in the website that you're on. And at least in my experience, the ones that I've seen like that, you can't get rid of them. I've known people to shut down the computer and restart it, and it's still there because it's on the website.
Right.
It's not yet on your computer.
Right. Okay. I got to let my sister know, but she's run into it a couple of times.
Just press and hold that power button, shut it off. There are other ways to accomplish that. I've just found it the easiest way. And the people that have called me in a panic, they have successfully been able to go through that when I walk them through it. So
Maybe
You're
you would
using
know
Windows.
if it would eliminate the tabs or the history of your websites.
Yes.
Sometimes a bad website would stay in your history. And
Very
if you
good.
do that power down, does that erase your history?
No.
it depends on your
Depends on
settings.
your settings.
Okay.
Well said.
Huey,
What I
hold
do,
on. Hold on just one second. Kate's
Sure.
trying to get in. Can you get her in?
No, I'm
Who?
sorry, and
Are you in?
I managed, yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks.
okay,
Right.
Bob Baxter, your hand was up, then it was down, and you're back. What's up?
Yes, sorry. My thanks to Jolene. She answered my question.
Oh,
I don't do a good job of housekeeping on my Edge browser. And sometimes I get a lot of things up there and I restart the machine. And it used to give me an option and I couldn't remember the name. Thank you, Jolene. Restore. Is restore still part of Edge?
Yes, if you can right click on, if you close something inadvertently, you can right click and restore the previously closed tab. You can
Sometimes when you
often
restart the computer, everything's gone. And I know there's stuff on there that I want, and so I'd like to restore it all and I can clean it up.
Okay, then you go into click on the three-dot menu and go to history. And all your history will be there and you can see what closed. Unless you have it set to erase history when you close your browser, the history is going to be there.
What you can do is when you open up your browser after it reboots or after whatever you do, or if you shut your browser down by mistake, as soon as you open the browser, the first thing you want to do is Control-Shift-T, and it'll bring back all of your tabs.
Control-Shift-T. Okay, thank you very much.
Excellent. Oh, and just for those who haven't, definitely update Chrome and Edge. It's up to 128, and there's some fixes in the Chromium programming that they've sent
There's
out. So,
updates for Firefox too.
are there? Okay, good. I didn't know because I don't use Firefox. Thank you.
Yeah, just make sure your browsers are always up to date. I'll make whenever they say that it needs to be updated, make sure you do it.
Okay. Some things one thing that some people may not know, you probably all do, but you can save your favorites from any browser. You go to your browser and open up whatever you open to play with your favorites, to reorganize them or put them in folders. That's real handy to have. They're very important to me. You can export them as a file. And I do that in my backups. I always export my favorites from my browser so that if anything happens, I can restore my favorites.
Yeah, it's called
any browser can take that file and understand the file and make it favorites in another browser for you too.
It used to be called bookmarks, and I think it still is in
Bookmarks,
some browsers.
Yeah, favorites, bookmarks, whatever.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
and
very
then,
good.
And then here's one final note for everybody. If none of that above works, open a command prompt window, just a regular one, doesn't need to be administrator. And then just type in the word MS Edge, and then a space, and then 2 hyphens, new hyphen window. And that will force Edge to not restore anything it did previously. It will open up with a clean window.
Could you put that code in the chat, please?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
Windows R to get to that command prompt.
Oh, I know the command. I know how to get there. I just didn't know what the thing was. So, but yeah, but Windows R.
I don't know how to get to the command prompt, so you can add that to your,
Windows R. Yep.
okay, thank you.
And then dash new dash window. And I'm putting that in the chat now.
Thank you.
A new topic. I don't know if anybody has Mac computers, but one of the things that you face with a Mac computer is after a long time, usually around 10 years, you can't update them anymore. And once you can't get security updates, you basically it's dangerous to keep them on the internet. And one of the things that I'm facing is probably a year at least before it happens, but I wanted to prepare myself in advance. So what I did, what I will want to do, because I love the little MacBook, it's the nicest laptop I've ever owned. But when it can't be updated, I've gone through the whole process of installing Linux on it, and I didn't install it. I didn't want to change the hard drive. So I installed it on an external SSD, and to my surprise, it actually runs faster than the MacBook in its native form. So I know that once it can't be updated, I've got a solution, and I may make a presentation for that of how to do that at some point, maybe before the October 11th ACPUG Linux workshop.
I see you on the screen, and I'm here, but I don't feel too good, and I am probably gonna black out my screen here in a few minutes, because I don't look very good, and I keep coughing, and we weren't here today. I had that doctor's appointment up in Summerfield, and with the gastro people. the nurse practitioner or doctor practitioner saw me, and she was really good, asking me a lot of questions, and we're trying to determine what's going on, but they don't want to do the endoscopy while I have this cough because, you know, they have to put you under. So we're going to put that off for a while until I feel better. And Friday, I see my doctor again. And then Monday, Jerry got an appointment with an ENT. So that will be an important one to try to determine.
What's going on
You
here?
know, if
we hope you'll
or what's causing this coughing, because it's not in my chest. I don't need a pulmonary.
Okay, we hope you'll feel better, but we'd like to get back to computer talk. So please get better. And
So I'll be listening to the meeting as long as I can.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Next person, anybody? Just
Fine,
speak up, take yourself off of mute and ask a question.
Yeah, someone give us a tough one.
Okay, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Jim McIntyre. I want to know what is the connection between Edge and Chrome. I've seen where it says Edge Chromium. So what does that mean?
It basically means that Microsoft stopped writing Edge all by themselves, and they're licensing from Google Chrome the main code base. So Chromium has been a name for a long, long time. Google Chrome is the master browser code base, and then Microsoft enhances it, modifies it, does whatever they want to do to it, and then they release it as Edge. So it's sort of
and Chromium is the open source version, and but the problem with Chromium is that you can no longer do the syncing that you used to be able to do. Google's kind of blocked that, so Chromium isn't so useful anymore. But an Edge, of course, is based on the Chromium, the Chromium base.
Yeah, that shouldn't be something new, Jim. What you probably are saying is just some reference to Edge. When Edge first came out, it was not Chromium based. It was their own software, like Drew said. And then they made some kind of arrangement with Google to use the Chromium engine. And that's what they use. It's part of, that's why a lot of the extensions that you might use with Chrome will also work with Edge.
Well,
Okay,
is
go ahead,
Edge,
James.
Edge is the browser for Microsoft.
That's correct. Yeah.
And are they using part of Google's browser
Yes.
also?
Yes.
Okay.
Think of it. It's not exactly the same. It's kind of customized.
And it doesn't affect you. It's just how it runs. So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, think about it. You have a Lexus or a Toyota. They're both the same company, same engine underneath the hood, just a different label on the top.
Yep.
Just for fun, if I may, those of you that are using your screen visually so we can see your face, let's run down the list of the most famous browsers. And if you could raise your hand real quick on your favorite browser. Let's start with Chrome. How many people use Chrome as their favorite, most often browser?
The default browser.
About 3, maybe 4 people. Okay, how about Edge? Looks like 2,
what I use.
maybe 3. How about Firefox?
Nope.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 5 for Firefox. And Safari. 1 or 2. So it seems to be
Don't forget Brave.
What did I miss?
Don't
Brave.
forget Brave.
Okay.
Even if it's only me.
Yeah, no, and me.
Okay, too.
Okay.
I know you can use multiple browsers, but just interested in what your favorite one was. And I was kind of surprised that it's more or less distributed. There isn't half of us that are all chosen to use the same browser.
And then there's also Opera.
Opera, sorry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
And there's
Opera,
many more. There's many
Oh,
more.
I know, we don't
Yeah.
have,
Waterfox, Libre Wolf.
We can go down the rabbit hole with these,
yes.
absolutely.
I didn't
Thorium.
like that.
yeah.
Don't
we
forget
seem to
DuckDuckGo.
With the responses I got, I think we covered 90% of the people that are responded with those 5 or 6 browsers we named. So thank you very much. We have time for another question. One more? Good one?
I got a quick question.
Okay, Dwight.
Don't call me Dwight. Okay, I'm sorry. I got my wrong name up there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Huey knows who I am. Anyhow, did Microsoft or Windows change their requirements for Windows 11 recently?
From what to what?
Anything, because my computer, when Windows 11 came out and I ran the little test, and it says I couldn't update to Windows 11 because I don't have a TPM. This computer is about 4 years old. Yet I shut my computer down Sunday night before I went to bed and have it reboot, which I do once a week. And Monday morning when I came up, I was running Windows 11.
Gosh.
Interesting.
That's
All right,
really
you have
interesting.
to understand, Windows must be rebooted every 7 to maximum 10 days.
Yes.
It gets confused and it's collecting dust. And so you may get errant operations like you just did.
Yeah,
Well,
I
who
usually
says that's
reboot
an
mine.
error?
I usually reboot mine once a week at least. Yeah, but like I said, Monday morning when I came and logged on, I was running Windows 11.
Well, if you leave it on 24/7 at around the middle of the night, they can and will update you.
No, this would have been when he rebooted. It would have loaded the update before when he restarted it. When he shut it down the next morning when he came up, that update had been installed.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually reboot it and then go to bed. And when I said when I got up in the Monday morning, I noticed my taskbar was in the middle. Okay, I'm running Windows 11. The only thing I got Windows 11 is on my laptop over here. All my other computers are running 10 or something else.
It's always been possible to run Windows 11 on an illegal computer. Many people have been doing that.
I know people have done that. Yes.
But Microsoft said that because they're getting a lot of pushback on people not wanting to buy new computers, that they were going to allow and bypass some of the restrictions and allow Windows 11 on Windows 10 computers. I didn't know
Apparently, apparently that's what's happening.
Do we know for sure that that's happening, or are we guessing?
I'm not aware of that one factor, but he said his machine is only 4 years old.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got a machine that has the 8th generation Intel chip is compliant. Anything older than the 8th generation is technically non-compliant. Therefore, you have to bypass things. So if I got a generation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 CPU by Intel, I am able to run 11 only if I do the install of the unsupported version, which most people do not want to do.
Why don't you go to Windows Update and look at your update history and see what it's done? That would be the best thing to do. That's what I would do at this point.
You can also go to your configuration for your system, go to System, scroll down to About, click on that, and the first block at the top of the right-hand side of the screen tells you about the hardware of your computer. And probably the second line is about the CPU. If after the dash, you have a number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you're in compliant. If you have a number less than 8, that's one of those that you can only run unsupported 11 on, but you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find my way around 11. Like, so although I've had it on my laptop for over a year, but I'm just
You,
things that I'm used to finding, they moved. I know.
oh, they moved everything. And
Yes, they moved
they
everything.
don't do
I've been
that.
playing around the last 2 days trying to find out, you talk about the system and updates. Yeah, I found it, everything, but there's a few things I'm still looking for.
You may find things change darn near every month or every other month because they are doing their best to get rid of the old control panel.
Yes.
That means that they start rearranging some of the software and they want to change the location. So a lot of things that used to be under Windows Update in the system menu are now under System.
I also just read that they're maybe backing off of removing the control panel. As
Yeah, I just read that
just read
also.
that today. Okay, good. I didn't think I was dreaming.
Yeah, it's not easy to just get rid of.
Right.
No,
It's
I
very
still use it regularly.
it's
There's a lot of things that you can't do unless you go to the control panel.
Exactly.
Even on Windows 11, if you go to certain menu selections, you're not seeing a Windows 11 window pop up. You're seeing an old control panel
Exactly
pop up because they haven't gotten rid of the old code that's bringing that up.
Well, that's because there's a lot of things in the old control panel that they don't have unless you go to it.
Right.
Well, in some cases, it's just a case of not knowing where it got moved to or merged in with
some
other.
Some things are strictly in the old control panel. I'll just say a couple of them that I use all the time. One is the administrative tools, and another one is the disk, their disk utility. I forget what it's called, but disk management or something like that. The one, if you just go without going to the control panel, you won't get those things.
Have you
And I've also noticed that the control panel, very often, if I'm in the control panel and I click on something, it will take me to a setting in the new settings.
Yeah,
so
if it exists there. Yeah,
there is some connection, right?
Yeah.
But it's not everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It should always
Yeah.
be everything. That's what computers are for. If
Yeah, but
you
it's
click
not.
on what you're used to, it should send you automatically to the new one.
But a lot of the
Yeah.
things there
Of
aren't
course
to
it
do
should, but
equivalent.
we're talking about Microsoft here.
Yeah.
What
You're right.
Jim, what would people like me do if
Exactly.
if
Don't take
everything
my job
just worked?
Well, all they had to do was, this old command is not working anymore, so we're sending you to the new one, and we'll do this until you remove this message. And then you learn the new one by then, and you remove the warning message. I don't know why they don't do that. That's what computers are good
Part of
for.
the issue, though, isn't it? I mean, there's a bunch of people out in the worldwide, that are still using 10, if not earlier versions of Windows. So they can't erase the control panel because people are still using it in earlier versions of Windows. So
Sure.
it's
if you try to go to the start button and right clicking, you'll get most of the stuff that was on control panel.
absolutely.
Okay, we're gonna have to move along. It's time to start the regular meeting. What a great session. I jotted down some notes. And I'll try to put together a little mini summary for the next monitor. But thank you for your interest, and we uncovered some very unusual topics today. And I'll turn it back over to Huey to open the regular meeting. Thank you all.